We are not pro-war people. Subscribe and comment for more videos. Aksoy YouTube channel.
In the first scene, a Russian soldier tries to move through mountainous terrain, believing he's undetected. He takes cover inside a dugout, but a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone has already spotted him. Moments later, an FPV drone dives straight into the shelter, eliminating the target with pinpoint accuracy. The following footage shows more Russian soldiers, both isolated and in small groups, being neutralized by Ukrainian drones across different locations. This operation once again highlights Ukraine's technological edge on the battlefield. Amid ongoing clashes in eastern Ukraine, the Sky Fury unit of the Ukrainian 54th Mechanized Brigade successfully ambushed and destroyed a Russian armored convoy in a coordinated operation. The defensive line had been reinforced with anti-tank ditches and barbed wire barriers. Numerous shell craters can be seen along this line, where Russian vehicles became trapped and were hit one by one. According to military sources, the strike took place within a pre-planned fire bag, designed to restrict enemy movement and expose them to concentrated fire. The Ukrainian Security Service's A Special Operations Unit launched a heavy attack on Russian infantry in its latest operation. These moments were captured by the unit. Previously known for targeting armored vehicles and critical military systems, the unit has shifted focus due to dwindling Russian equipment and increased reliance on manpower. The new footage shows Ukrainian special forces directly striking Russian infantry, causing heavy casualties. This marks a shift in battlefield dynamics, with more clashes based on manpower. The 2nd Battalion of the 40th Marine Brigade launched artillery fire on a concentration of Russian Armed Forces personnel near the village of Nova Zborivka in the Kherson region. As a result of the shelling, enemy fortifications and ammunition storage sites were destroyed. Ukrainian soldiers have successfully taken control of a Russian bunker and neutralized the threat. The footage shows troops identifying a concealed bunker in a wooded area. They first open heavy fire into the entrance, then throw a grenade to eliminate any remaining resistance inside.
More impact.
After a brief wait, the soldiers enter and find several dead Russian troops inside. One Ukrainian soldier uses a knife to cut open a Russian soldier's pocket, retrieving a few items without even attempting to use his hands. This moment highlights the brutal pace and psychological toll of close-quarters combat. The exact contents of the pocket are unclear. Possibly medicine, documents, or personal belongings. After a quick inspection of the area, the unit withdraws swiftly from the scene. Ukraine's 63rd Brigade reports that numerous Russian soldiers are surrendering near Torske in Donetsk. Facing shortages of water and ammunition, Russian troops are reportedly demoralized, leading to increased voluntary surrenders. A Ukrainian soldier narrowly avoided an FPV drone attack while driving near the front. The drone exploded just behind the vehicle. The soldier was unharmed. An advancement of Russian forces in vehicles was detected near the positions of Ukraine's 10th Mountain Assault Brigade. One of the vehicles was towing a trailer, indicating the vehicles were not properly equipped for combat conditions. Ukrainian units detected the approaching elements early and neutralized them. A Ukrainian drone attempted to strike a Russian soldier, but the explosive failed to detonate on initial contact. The drone dropped to the ground. The Russian soldier carefully approached, grabbed the device, and threw it away. The drone exploded shortly after. Footage shows the soldier remaining motionless, likely pretending to be dead to avoid a follow-up strike. The 47th Mechanized Brigades detect the D-30 howitzer hidden by Russian soldiers in the wooded area. After detecting it, they transmit the coordinates to the artillery units. And then the artillery units launch 2 attacks. The ammunition explodes. In this video, the 47th Mechanized Brigades carries out a drone attack on Russian soldiers. First, the soldiers hide inside a house and prepare for the attack. The Strix UAV pilots carefully monitor the situation, waiting for the house to fill with enemy troops. Once the house is full, they launch the attack. In this video, Ukrainian Marines from Mykolaiv conduct precision UAV operations against Russian military targets in the Kursk region. As a result of the attack by drones called Steel Birds, several military targets belonging to the invaders were successfully destroyed. Subscribe for more of these videos and like the video for more. The Ukrainian Special Operations Unit has struck many targets connected to Russia in the past 2 weeks. These targets include tanks, armored vehicles, artillery systems, air defense systems, transport vehicles, and ammunition depots. It is claimed that more than 1,000 Russian soldiers were neutralized in these attacks. Ukraine's recently developed domestic drone technology is being used in these operations. This new generation warfare approach provides less personnel risk, greater mobility, and high efficiency. The Sicario unit, serving in the Ukrainian ranks, destroyed a Russian tank they spotted on the front line by targeting it with an FPV drone. In the video, the FPV drone following the tank is observed to hit the target by being guided with high precision. One of the most striking moments in the footage came just after the targeted Russian tank was hit. Before the tank exploded, Russian soldiers inside were seen running out in panic. This scene revealed just how sudden and unexpected the operation was. A powerful explosion occurs in the tank after the attack. The explosion is further intensified by the detonation of ammunition and electronic equipment inside the tank. The 47th Mechanized Brigade effectively destroyed a Russian unmanned aerial vehicle conducting reconnaissance operations in Sumy. Ukrainian reconnaissance units detected Russian UAV operators and transmitted coordinates to FPV UAV pilots. The target was first neutralized by UAV antenna systems. Russian soldiers hiding in the bunker were later destroyed by artillery shells fired from Paladin howitzers. In the fighting near Chasov Yar, the Rarog Regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine neutralized a rare Russian BTR-MDM airborne armored personnel carrier. Russian troops used the railway as a corridor to advance towards Ukrainian positions. The Russian tank gained high speed and attempted to launch a surprise attack. However, the Ukrainian Defense Forces successfully detected the target. The armored vehicle was hit and destroyed by effective fire from the Rarog Regiment fighters. According to military experts, the BTR-MDM vehicles are rarely used in the Russian army. In the Sumy region, a Russian D-30 howitzer disguised in green camouflage was destroyed by the Ukrainian 47th Mechanized Brigade. The artillery system was detected by the BUAR reconnaissance unit. It was later destroyed by a precise hit from an FPV attack UAV. A Russian infantry group attempting to establish a position in the village of Volnopol in the Donetsk region was neutralized by the 31st Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Russian soldiers wanted to hold the village and establish a permanent defensive line. However, Ukrainian soldiers detected movement in the area and gradually destroyed the enemy group with the help of drones. In the Donetsk region, an attempt by Russian infantry to launch a mass assault on the positions of the Freedom Force Battalion of the Rubezh Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine failed. Russian troops attempted to launch a surprise attack by passing through the forest area. However, the area was under surveillance by drones. Ukrainian defense forces detected the Russian attempt and intervened. Russian troops suffered heavy losses in the intervention. Before moving on to new news, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the videos. Aksoy YouTube channel. In this video, the Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, is seen conducting special operations to clear Russian soldiers, troops, equipment, and supplies from the Black Sea, as Ukraine's gas extraction platforms are equipped with Russian radar equipment. Attack drone operators of the Security Service of Ukraine continue to deal heavy blows to Russian military units. The 24th Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine foiled an infiltration attempt near the town of Chasiv Yar, Donetsk region. Ukrainian troops responded immediately to the infiltration attempt. The units quickly organized and pushed back the enemy forces. The attackers suffered heavy losses. A building housing Russian soldiers in the village of Guevo, in the Kursk region, was targeted in an airstrike by Ukraine using French-made hammer-guided munitions. Similar images came from the Kherson region. This time, a building in the Russian-occupied Kherson region was attacked with a French-made hammer bomb. Hammer ammunition supplied by France is frequently used by Ukraine. The 4th Rubezh Rapid Response Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine successfully repelled a massive offensive attempt by Russian troops stationed in the Donetsk region. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry's Chief Intelligence Directorate attacked a Russian logistics train. According to information received, the train was carrying fuel for Russian troops. It is said that as a result of the attack, 3 fuel tankers were burned, and train traffic was stopped for a long time. 2 soldiers from Ukraine's 25th Airborne Brigade conducted an operation in the village of Lysivka in Donetsk. They approached a building where Russian soldiers were hiding in the basement. They dropped a powerful explosive. The explosion destroyed the building. The 413th Reed Battalion of the Ukrainian Armed Forces continues to destroy Russia's Buk air defense systems and radars with the help of drones. Developed during the Soviet era, the Buk is a medium-range air defense system. Buk systems are quite expensive and take a long time to replace. The regular loss of these systems significantly weakens Russia's air defense capabilities and creates new attack opportunities for Ukraine in certain regions. A Ukrainian ground-based kamikaze drone targeted a Russian tank. However, the explosive on the drone failed to detonate due to a malfunction. Ukrainian forces quickly intervened and detonated the main explosive by dropping a small bomb from an airdrop UAV. The target tank was destroyed as a result of the operation. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone spotted a Russian soldier resting under a bridge. When the soldier noticed the drone, he quickly hid under the bridge. However, the fire still burning at the spot he was at gave his location away. In the drone footage, 2 boats protruding from under the bridge caught attention. The soldier's feet trying to take cover were not enough to hide his presence. This small detail foreshadowed the fatal end. The FPV kamikaze drone, which was directed to the area in a short time, hit the target with a precise shot. The Ukrainian Air Force Western Air Command has released footage of the use of the American-made MIM-23 Hawk air defense system. The system, which is said to be effective despite its age, has made 4 successful shots against Russian missile and drone attacks. Subscribe to our channel before moving on to our next news, and like the video for more videos. Aksoy YouTube channel. The next news is from the Kursk region. According to reports, Ukrainian soldiers in the village of Guevo carried out 3 airstrikes on Russian positions. In Vovchansk, a Russian soldier received intelligence that Ukrainian forces were inside a building. He went there alone, without any support or protection. First, he threw an explosive device toward the building. Then he opened fire. However, he was shot and went down. Shortly after, a timed explosive he was carrying detonated. A Russian air defense system was destroyed by a drone strike, with targeted support from the Black Forest Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, dealing a significant blow to Russian air defense capabilities. The 57th Brigade of Ukraine is on city defense duty. A destroyed building is used as bait. A Russian soldier walks into the trap. A Ukrainian drone is deployed, and the target is neutralized. In this video, a group of Russian soldiers re-enter the trap building. An explosion inside killed 2 soldiers. The survivors were neutralized shortly after exiting. Ukrainian defenses continue to inflict heavy losses on Russian forces. An expert says Russian forces use fiber-optic-controlled drones to ambush Ukrainian soldiers on the roads. In response, the Ukrainian National Police's Hizhak unit scans these roads with their own drones. They spot and destroy the Russian ambush drones quickly. The soldiers of the 14th Special Operations Regiment spotted a large gathering of Russian soldiers and equipment. The Russians were heavily concentrated in the area. In response, rocket launchers were used to strike a wide area. The attack dealt a heavy blow to Russian forces. In a mountainous forest area, 2 large Russian military vehicles were transporting troops and ammunition. As soldiers boarded the vehicles, a Ukrainian surveillance drone began monitoring the scene. Once the convoy started moving, Ukraine's FPV drone was launched. Locking onto its targets, the drone struck the vehicles on the road. Explosions followed, disabling the convoy. Ukraine later released footage, confirming the success of the operation. Russian soldiers unloaded missiles, mines, and explosives from a vehicle, hiding them in a small wooded area. It appeared they were storing the weapons for future use. But a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone was watching every moment. It waited for the soldiers to leave the area, then made its move. Moments later, the target was hit. The munitions were destroyed in a powerful explosion. A Russian tank moves through a forest and parks inside a damaged building, unaware that a Ukrainian drone is watching from above. Soon after, an attack drone dives through the entrance and detonates inside the structure. The result is unclear, but the strike hits exactly where the tank was last seen. Before moving on to our new news, don't forget to subscribe to Aksoy YouTube channel and like the videos for more videos. Aksoy YouTube channel. We continue with similar news. A Ukrainian drone silently follows a Russian tank along a forest road. The tank suddenly stops in the middle of the road. The reason is unknown, but it is likely a technical malfunction. Shortly after, a fast and agile FPV attack drone appears, locks onto the target, and hits the tank with precision. Ukrainian forces launched an attack on Russian positions in Tyotkino village, Kursk region, using GBU-39 bombs. The Ukrainian army precisely targeted a Russian underground position southeast of Nechayeva village in the Kherson region. After the explosion, the drone continues recording, revealing the collapsed entrance to the underground tunnel system used by Russian forces. Ukraine's 72nd Mechanized Brigade carried out precise FPV drone strikes in the Donetsk region. Russian vehicles, a shelter, and even a house were taken out one by one. Every moment of the operation was captured by the drone camera. An advancement of Russian forces in vehicles was detected near the positions of Ukraine's 10th Mountain Assault Brigade. One of the vehicles was towing a trailer, indicating the vehicles were not properly equipped for combat conditions. Ukrainian units detected the approaching elements early and neutralized them. A Ukrainian drone attempted to strike a Russian soldier, but the explosive failed to detonate on initial contact. The drone dropped to the ground. The Russian soldier carefully approached, grabbed the device, and threw it away. The drone exploded shortly after. Footage shows the soldier remaining motionless, likely pretending to be dead to avoid a follow-up strike. A tank from Ukraine's Lut Brigade of the National Police targeted Russian soldiers hiding in high-rise buildings. Thanks to the tank gun's precision, specific floors were directly hit. something difficult to achieve with howitzer artillery. As a result, Russian positions were successfully neutralized.
A Ukrainian kamikaze drone struck a Russian-made Gvozdika self-propelled howitzer hidden in a forest. The attack, carried out by the 38th Marine Brigade, caused a massive explosion. Russian soldiers enter a truck full of drones. What happens next is not surprising at all. A small Russian infantry group attempted to reach the positions of the K2 Battalion of Ukraine's 54th Brigade without any vehicles, but suffered heavy losses. They carried a device meant to jam drone communications, but it proved ineffective against the intense drone attacks. The Russian soldiers were surrounded and systematically destroyed by the drones. This operation once again demonstrated Ukraine's technological superiority. Before moving on to the next news, subscribe to the channel and like the video for more videos. Aksoy YouTube channel. Near the village of Glotovo in the Belgorod region, a Russian security service building was attacked with a precision missile called Hammer. The K2 Battalion of the 54th Mechanized Brigade successfully repelled Russian assaults in the Luhansk and Donetsk regions. Operations were conducted around the villages of Zolotarivka and Verkhnyo-Kamyanska. Russian soldiers' hiding places, armored vehicles, and tanks were targeted by drone strikes. Precision attacks carried out by drones capable of dropping munitions significantly weakened the enemy's offensive capabilities. As Russia's attacks continue, the Ukrainian army resolutely defends its territory. Using modern technology and effective tactics, they maintain superiority over the enemy. The people and soldiers of Ukraine bravely continue their fight for freedom. This video shows the attack on the Crimean Bridge. 1,100 kilograms of TNT damaged its underwater supports. A hammer missile launched from a fighter jet targeted a building occupied by Russian drone operators. The high-precision munition caused severe damage to the structure. Ukraine's 38th Marine Brigade carried out attacks near Popov Yar in the Donetsk region using unmanned aerial vehicles, including FPV drones. Tanks, underground bunkers, houses sheltering Russian troops, and small ground vehicles were hit, causing severe damage. These operations demonstrate Ukraine's resilience and have strengthened the defense line in the area. The 42nd Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces has carried out effective and precise strikes against Russian armored vehicles and military transports in Russia's Belgorod region. These operations, conducted inside Russian territory, have dealt significant blows to the invaders' logistics and mobility. These bold cross-border actions by the Ukrainian military demonstrate the determination of the resistance against the occupiers and continue to undermine Russia's border security. The targeted and planned strikes in Belgorod highlight Ukraine's resolve to defend its land and showcase its superior military capability. As such targeted attacks become a routine threat deep within Russia, Ukraine's brave soldiers continue to weaken the morale and operational strength of the invading forces. Ukraine's 225th Assault Regiment has neutralized a Russian support point in the Kursk region. The operation involved heavy use of hand grenades and improvised explosive devices. The intensity of the clash highlights the rising tension along the border. Clashes continue unabated in the Sumy region of northeastern Ukraine. The 36th Marine Brigade has released footage showing the destruction of a Russian assault group. The videos reveal intense fighting along the border area. Russian forces are reportedly launching attacks using light infantry units moving on quad bikes. These units attempt to gain a foothold in border villages and abandoned buildings. However, Ukrainian forces are decisively repelling every incursion. Tensions remain high along the Sumy border. The Ukrainian army is determined to hold the defensive line in the region. Before moving on to the next news, subscribe to the channel and like the video for more videos. Operators of unmanned aerial vehicles from the 137th Marine Battalion successfully repelled a Russian advance attempt. Footage shows Russian MTLB armored vehicles trying to speed across open terrain at maximum velocity. An apparent effort to minimize exposure in a zone heavily targeted by Ukrainian firepower. Meanwhile, Russian infantry scattered across the field can be seen immediately dropping to the ground and pretending to be dead, reportedly as a tactic to avoid incoming airstrikes. Ukrainian forces continue to demonstrate both surveillance and strike capabilities, detecting every movement along the borderline and responding with effective precision. A Russian soldier is seen approaching a destroyed Russian tank, for reasons that remain unclear. However, Ukrainian drones begin tracking him. At first, the soldier doesn't seem to notice. But once he realizes he's being followed, panic sets in. He starts running, then suddenly throws himself to the ground. The reason is uncertain, perhaps fear, perhaps instinct. But once again, the psychological pressure of war is clearly captured on camera. Ukraine's security service, the SBU, has released footage from its special operation, Powitna, or Spiderweb. The mission targeted 4 Russian air bases with drone strikes, hitting 41 military aircraft, including A-50, 295, and 2 160 bombers. The SBU used AI-powered autonomous drones. According to President Zelensky, half of the aircraft were destroyed, the rest heavily damaged. The operation dealt a major blow to Russia's strategic air power. Russia targeted residential buildings in Kharkiv using Shahed kamikaze drones. Casualty details are still being clarified. Once again, it's clear that a Russia unable to advance on the battlefield is turning to civilians in an attempt to intimidate.
Да она в это же место.
А, в это же место?
Да.
Ukraine's 38th Marine Brigade neutralized 3 targets in succession: a vehicle, a motorcycle, and a Russian kamikaze drone hidden by the roadside. The enemy drone was destroyed using a Ukrainian-operated drone equipped with a precision munition release system. Before moving on to the next news, subscribe to the channel and like the video for more videos. The Ukrainian National Guard Spartan units successfully repelled the Russian Banzai-style attacks, carried out with motorcycles and electric scooters. The term Banzai attack originates from World War II, describing fearless and sudden charges by Japanese soldiers. Today, it refers to swift and daring attacks carried out with courage and speed. Russian soldiers struggle to move due to damaged and pothole-ridden roads. While searching for a way through, they are forced to stop and become vulnerable to attacks by Ukrainian drones. This situation strengthens Ukraine's defensive capabilities. The Ukrainian General Staff has announced the first strike against the Iskander missile launchers stationed near Klinsa in Russia's Bryansk region. According to the report, one launcher detonated during the attack, while 2 others are believed to have been damaged. Russian soldiers failed to shoot down an incoming Ukrainian FPV kamikaze drone. The drone stayed on course and directly struck a Russian military vehicle.
A Russian Su-25 ground attack aircraft crashed today near the front line after suffering structural damage mid-air. The pilot ejected safely and sustained a broken arm. He is currently hospitalized. The Russian army uses armored covers called mangols on their tanks and BMDs. These covers have openings that allow soldiers to fire at drone attacks without leaving the vehicle. However, Ukraine's Wormbusters unit continues to effectively counter Russian tanks and BMDs despite these measures. Ukraine's 63rd Brigade reports that numerous Russian soldiers are surrendering near Torske in Donetsk. Facing shortages of water and ammunition, Russian troops are reportedly demoralized, leading to increased voluntary surrenders. A Ukrainian soldier narrowly avoided an FPV drone attack while driving near the front. The drone exploded just behind the vehicle. The soldier was unharmed. A Ukrainian drone struck a military electronics factory in the Russian city of Cheboksary. The facility produces navigation and control systems for Iskander missiles, cruise missiles, and drones. Ukraine's Flying Skull Battalion identified a Russian ammunition depot inside a civilian building. An airstrike was launched against the depot using a MiG-29 fighter jet. The target was successfully hit. Ukraine's 14th Special Forces Regiment destroyed a Russian armored column. The Russian forces advanced with a tank in front and several armored vehicles behind. But the convoy was stopped and eliminated by Ukrainian troops. The FPV drone raid by the Mykolaiv Marines strikes the enemy with precision and ruthlessness. Our drone operators, operating in the Donbas steppes, target critical enemy positions, causing significant damage. Each operation breaks the enemy's resistance, taking important steps that could change the course of the war. Equipped with advanced technology, FPV drones provide battlefield superiority and strengthen the power of our heroic soldiers. The Ukrainian army continues to push back the enemy step by step, with the success of these operations by the Mykolaiv Marines. The rising sound in Donbas remains a symbol of freedom and resistance. Ukrainian soldiers have successfully taken control of a Russian bunker and neutralized the threat. The footage shows troops identifying a concealed bunker in a wooded area. They first open heavy fire into the entrance, then throw a grenade to eliminate any remaining resistance inside.
More impact.
After a brief wait, the soldiers enter and find several dead Russian troops inside. One Ukrainian soldier uses a knife to cut open a Russian soldier's pocket, retrieving a few items without even attempting to use his hands. This moment highlights the brutal pace and psychological toll of close-quarters combat. The exact contents of the pocket are unclear, possibly medicine, documents, or personal belongings. After a quick inspection of the area, the unit withdraws swiftly from the scene. The 36th Separate Marine Brigade inflicted heavy losses on Russian forces during a coordinated operation in the Donbas region. Using reconnaissance UAVs and FPV drones, enemy movements, shelter points, and defensive positions were accurately identified and destroyed. The brigade once again demonstrated its dominance on the battlefield through the effective use of modern combat technology. Ukraine's 5th Assault Brigade neutralized enemy forces in confined spaces near the Kramatorsk direction using FPV drones. The footage shows Russian soldiers hiding inside pipe systems being directly targeted and struck. With this operation, The Ukrainian military once again demonstrates its technological capabilities on the battlefield.